Peace and greetings. This is Artist. Unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders. So we're looking at self-study. We're finishing up the 16 keys to life. Okay. Here again, let's look at the 16 keys. Let's go over them one more time up to where we are. We have peace, truth, giving, moderation, release, cleanliness, contentment, discipline, and now we're on self-study. So self-study is, at its core, it's reflection. It's looking inward. How do we do this? A lot of different ways. One of the ways is looking at reading ancient texts, right? Whatever old book that appeals to you, you know what I mean? Like the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, you know, any ancient text that resonates with you. Those books help us to look at ourselves. Their main purpose is for us, their main purpose is self-discovery, right? These books help us, they almost work as a mirror to reflect who we are. Okay, if we really do the work and really study and really look at them with an open mind and an open heart, they can reveal things to us. Okay. Also, self-study is spending time alone by yourself in solitude. Now, this may be something that is difficult for some of us, especially if we live with other folks in a full house. There's always something going on. There's always some people around. There's always movement. So it's hard to sit with yourself and do that inner work, do that self-work, to find that isolation time. And I'm not specifically talking about meditation. Yes, meditation has many purposes. It can be used in many different ways, but the main way that when I speak about meditation, I'm talking about doing your best to bring your mind to one point of focus, one thought, to bring your mind to the center. Okay? There's a popular misconception that people have about meditation. They say, well, you have to clear your mind. No. That's, number one, that's not possible. There's always going to be something going on in your mind. So what it is it's bringing your mind to one point of focus. Once you bring your mind to one point of focus and just bring all of your attention and awareness to that one thing, then everything else falls away. And for a brief moment, every once in a while, that falls away also. There's still thoughts going on. The mind is still there, but you don't see the thoughts. The thoughts are not in your direct consciousness. They are just there, right? So I'm not speaking specifically about meditation when I'm talking about this isolation piece. I'm saying time alone by yourself to think and reflect. Time alone by yourself to think and reflect. Now, what does this isolation look like? You can be isolated and still be around other people. Okay, you can be isolated and still be around other people. What do I mean by that? How can that happen? You can go for a walk. Now, there's cars maybe going by, maybe there's other people walking, but you're outside, okay, and you are focused on your walk. When you go for I like to call it a meditative walk, so to speak. Take care with each step. Notice each breath. Feel the sun on your face. Feel the wind as it goes by you. These little simple things. Watch each step. Feel the step. Okay? Breathe the air. Notice the breath. Notice the warmth of the sun as you walk and move. That is a form of isolation. You are only focused and concerned with you at that particular moment. And then you get that rhythm going, right? You're thinking about each step. You're thinking about the breath. You're letting the sun, you know what I mean, warm you. Or you have the moonlight. You may be walking at night. That's when you can start to peel back the layers, right? And look at, okay, what's going on with my life today? What's going on with my life this week? What's going on with my life this year? What's going on with my life, period? That is an excellent time to do that self-study, is taking a nice long walk, right? Or spending time at a park, right? There might be kids playing, somebody doing something else over in this area of the park. Find a little bench or a little place that you can be alone by yourself and sit there and just reflect. Sit there and just reflect. Maybe you have a journal with you. Maybe you're writing your thoughts, right? Self-study is you studying yourself, right? You getting into your mind. You figuring out, hey, what's going on in there? Okay? And like I said before, these keys, they work as steps also. And so as you are working with these things, it makes it easier for you to move into the self-study piece, right? If you work with each one of these. Now, when the method in which to work with these is to take one a day, okay? You take one of these keys a day and just study it. Set yourself up. See, I have a calendar, okay? And it's on my phone. And every day, one of the keys comes up, okay? For instance, today's key is moderation. It popped up on my calendar this morning. First thing in the morning, it popped up, moderation. I have it keyed in onto my phone. And so today, all day today, I'm thinking about moderation. I'm thinking about what that means for me. So set up your calendar and have each word for a day, and then have it rotate, right? After the last day, the 16th key, it starts over again. And you start from the top and you work your way down. That is going to, they all influence one another. Okay, so self-study. The next we're looking at is surrender. So surrender is, there's a thought or a saying in the Christian faith, Christian church, where it says, let go and let God, right? I've heard this before, and non-Christians say it also, let go and let God, right? You've done as much as you can. You've done as much as you can. You've done as much of the work as you can. And now it's time to let go. Now it's time to surrender the outcome. Surrender yourself, okay? It's not talking about complete surrender. It's not saying, oh, I have no control. I can't do anything. I can't do this. I give up. No. Surrender is not giving up. In this context, no. We're not talking about giving up. We're talking about you go as far as you can, and then you surrender. You surrender to whatever that higher concept is, okay? The Great Mother, your higher self, some type of deity that you work with, that you might worship. Whatever that is, you surrender to it, but you do the work. You must do the work. You do all of the work first, and then you surrender the outcome. So surrender. The next key that we're going to look at is movement. Okay, next key we're looking at is movement. So what does that mean? It means a lot of different things, right? The first one is, you have to take action. You got to do something. Where's the movement? You know what I mean? You have read all of the books. You have looked at all of the self-help videos, all of the motivational videos. You've done all of the research. Now it's time for some movement. It's time for you to do something. It's time for you to get to work. It's time for you to put all of the things that you have been reading about and studying into action, right? Let's go. Let's get some movement going, right? Do something. This also talks about your body, moving your body, exercising, right? Or yoga, having a yoga practice. I highly recommend that you develop a yoga practice. I have tons of videos on YouTube, really good starter videos for someone who wants to explore yoga. I highly recommend, if you want to get into yoga, doing the physical yoga practice, you need to go to a yoga studio. You should go to a yoga studio. Do your research though. Be very careful. But I highly recommend that you look at a yoga practice, a traditional style yoga practice that just focuses on breath and movement and meditation. Breath, movement, meditation. These three things really encompass a complete yoga practice, right? It has a start, it opens, you do physical asana yoga movements. The instructor is getting you to focus on your breath, and then you wind it down, and then at the end, you have a period of meditation. That is a complete yoga practice. Everything else is a circus. Everything else is extra, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know some folks who, I was one of these people. When I first started practicing yoga, I started with Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. I still practice Ashtanga Yoga. I started in the Mysore system, and it's extremely rigorous. It's very taxing on the body and the mind. Extremely difficult poses that you get into. Most Ashtanga practitioners do a 90-minute asana, do 90 minutes of asana work in the morning. I mean, it's a lot. Okay, if that's what it takes for you, go for it. If that's what's calling you, go for it. Do that long, rigorous practice to get yourself to a point where you've extinguished all of the energy, all of the energy that you need to get out, so you can sit down in a comfortable place and meditate. After years of practice, for me, I've been practicing Ashtanga yoga for 11 plus years. And I'm at a point now where every once in a while, I'll do a nice, good, rigorous practice, work up a sweat, really get things moving, do some advanced asana. But for the most part, my day-to-day practice is very simple. It's sun salutation, Surya Namaskar A and B. I'll do some standing postures. I do some seated postures. Maybe I'll get into a few advanced asana, and then I finish. 45 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. So what is best for you? You know that. You know what's best for you. You know what feels good for you. Okay, but just make sure that you set up that discipline for yourself and you do it every single morning. Maybe not every single morning, but as much as you can. So you do your practice. You plan on doing your yoga practice every single morning, right? Every single morning, I'm gonna get up and do my yoga practice. You let life give you a break. You let life give you a break. What do I mean by that? So You have to, there's a situation where you might have to take your daughter somewhere early in the morning to maybe a doctor's appointment or something. So you can't practice. Maybe your friend is like, hey, can you help me move tomorrow? Okay, you're not going to do the physical asana yoga practice. Let life give you a day off. Okay, I've got to fly to, Georgia next week. So I'm not going to be able to get up. I'm not going to be able to do my yoga practice that morning because I have to be on the plane at that time. Whatever it is, let life give you a break. And then, but you still have that idea of, okay, every day I'm going to do it. What happens is if you say, well, I'm only going to do it 3 days a week. I'll set up this time. I'll do it 2 days a week. Life is going to chop that up. And eventually you're going to maybe be doing it 1 day a week. Plan on getting up every morning and doing it, and let life give you the break, right? So that is the movement part, right? Your physical asana practice and your personal movement with your self-study, with your progression in life, right? Working towards your goals, whatever it is that you're trying to do, get the movement going. Take a break from watching the self-help videos, the motivational videos, doing all the research, and get to work, do the work, right? Get some movement going. So the next that we're going to look at is the breath. So the next of the 16 keys is the breath. You can go for a period of time without water. You can go for a period of time without food, but you can only go but a few minutes without breath. It's something that's really overlooked, but it's something that we have to do consistently, right? Every few seconds we're breathing, unless you're doing some type of extraneous, like free diving or something like that. You're holding, but you're aware, you're conscious. Okay, I'm holding. You're okay. When am I going to take this breath? So let's control it. Let's use it to our advantage. Okay. Think about this. When you get upset, when something happens, something irritates you, you can notice that your breath has changed. It gets heavier. It's what, the breath starts working up. This is a great opportunity for us to control our mind and our system, to bring it back down. Okay? Whenever you feel like you're getting upset, you feel like, okay, you know what? Think about the breath. Think about your breath. Take a few deep breaths. Big inhale, and then exhale. Okay, now let me figure out what I'm going to do, right? Instead of you get upset, something comes at you, and you immediately attack the situation. You have to, you know what? Oh, we got to do this. What did you say to me? Whatever it is, okay? Something happens, it hits you, you're like, whoa. Okay. All right. I don't like what you just said to me. Okay, this is how we're going to handle it. Use your breath to your advantage. Use your breath to calm yourself down. Okay? Now, there's some breath work techniques that you can use to help regulate your system, your body. There are tons of what they call pranayama, right? Different types of pranayama. Pranayama is another word for breath work. It's a Sanskrit word for breath work. Prana means energy. Yama means to control, right? To take under control. So you're controlling your energy. You control your energy first through the breath. Once you maintain the breath, once you get consistent breath, calm breath, it calms the mind, calms your system down, right? So one technique that you can use is alternate. It's called alternate nostril breathing. Really simple, right? And you just hold one nostril, breathe out of one, inhale through the other one, and then you switch. So it's something like, and I'll give a demonstration real quick. You make a fist and extend your thumb and your ring finger. The thumb goes on the right nostril and the ring finger goes on the left. You always want to start and end with the left side. Always want to start and end with the left side. So you press the thumb and you exhale out of the left, and then you inhale through the left, and then you switch and you do the other side, and just repeat that. That is a good way to help regulate the system, to regulate the right and the left sides, to get that center right going that you want. Now, another really simple way to work with the breath is to just notice it. To notice it. Like, how is my breathing right now? And then just be aware of it. Just sit. It's one of those it's another one of the meditation techniques where all you do is sit and focus on the breath. You notice your breath. You notice it as it comes in. Notice as it goes out. You just sit and notice the breath. Right? You'd be amazed at how that can just change your whole outlook on life, right? Just noticing the breath. Okay, so the next of the 16 keys is focus. So what are you focused on? That's the big question. What is your main focus? Now that can apply to your everyday, right? And it applies to your overall life. Okay, what are you focused on today that is going to help you to get to where you want to go? And that's where you can use these 16 keys as a daily focus. Like, okay, today I'm focused on moderation. How is moderation directly affecting my life? How can I use moderation to reach the goal that I want to get to? Right? So using the keys, right, can help you. Yeah, using the keys can be the thing that you can focus on every single day to help keep you on one page, on one accord, right? Another aspect of focus is, what are you focused on in your meditation? The meditation focus is whatever is going to help you to calm the mind. It can be, a word or a phrase, whatever it is that brings you peace. That's what you want to focus on when you're doing your meditation, right? Whatever it is that brings you joy, whatever it is that brings you peace, or you're focusing on your breath, but focus. Now, what are some of the things that can take our focus away or that can divert our focus? The phone, right? The phone is a big thing that really can be used as a positive and a negative, okay? What are you focused on when you are online, when you're looking on your phone, when you are on social media? I've talked about this before, your algorithm, okay? If you focus on the things that are going to help you to achieve your goals, the algorithm will push those things, they will give those things right back to you. If you're really focused in on those things, your algorithm will give it back to you. If you're focused on negative things, it's going to give the negative things back to you. It's simple as that. It's very simple, right? It's not complex. Some folks think that the algorithm has all these different little things. No, it's about what you focus on. That's what you're going to get back. That's how the algorithm works. So, focus. So the next is concentration. Concentration is focus in action, right? Concentration is focus in action. You're focusing on something, and once you start focusing on it, you start to concentrate. When you concentrate on it, you're peeling back the layers. Okay? You're peeling back the layers in the concentration. The focus is, okay, I'm looking at this onion. You're focused on the onion. The concentration is pulling back the layers of the onion. When you concentrate, you're working to unravel whatever it is that you're focusing on. Like I said before, these keys, they all work and go together. They all, once you start working on them, they fall in line with one another, right? So concentration. The next is meditation. Now, meditation, I talk about a lot. It has been my saving grace. It's the thing that has helped me the most in my life. Meditation. It has allowed me to do a lot of self-study, a lot of work. It's allowed me to progress in life. It's allowed me to cut out things that I don't need anymore. It's an excellent tool, meditation. So there's a few types, and there's a lot of different ways to meditate. Okay, lots of different ways to meditate. You can meditate what is called it's like moving meditation. Okay, you can be doing a particular task, and all of your focus, attention, and awareness is on that task that you're doing. That's a form of meditation. Okay, some folks, when they do yoga, that is a form of meditation for them because they're focusing on the next pose. All of their focus, attention, and awareness is on the pose that they're doing. They're meditating on the pose. Okay, you can use meditation to unlock a lot of things. Okay, these things work all the way down in progression, and they start to build on one another. And so once you work with all of the keys, you're working with all of these keys, and you get down to the meditation part, you got this energy, like, okay, you know what? All of these things have come together, and now we're on now I'm meditating. So you can bring your meditation onto something. You can meditate on something, right? When you do your morning meditation is meditating on your higher self, trying to work on making the connection with your higher self, the Great Mother, God, whatever you want to call it, right? That's the main focus when you sit down and do your morning meditation. However, you can use that meditation tool for anything you want to. Okay? If you are thinking about, or say for instance, you're writing a book, you're like, okay, you know what? I need to meditate on this book. I need to meditate on the idea of this book. So you sit down, you get into a quiet place, and you just think. All of your focus, attention, and awareness is on the book. You're meditating on the book. And you sit there and pow, ideas start coming to you. You start writing, right? I'm meditating on this car, okay? Say, for instance, that something is wrong with your vehicle, all right? There's something wrong with the car. And you know what? I'm gonna use this, and so I know a few mechanics, okay? And so I say, hey, my car, I don't know what's wrong with my car. It's not working. You know, I'll troubleshoot as much as I can. I don't know what's working. So the mechanic, this is his job, right? He knows how to troubleshoot a vehicle. So you tell him what the problem is, and a lot of times they'll put it in their mind and they'll just think, okay, wait a minute. They meditate on they meditate on the car, and when they meditate on the idea of what you said was wrong, the ideas will start to come to them, right? They're not thinking about what they have to do in a few minutes. They're not thinking about what just happened. They're not thinking about anything else other than, okay, what could be wrong with this car? And so they start to meditate on it, and the idea will come to them because they built up that energy and the memory banks in their mind of all the different things that could be wrong with the vehicle. So they meditate on it, and then all those ideas start to come to them. That's what happens when you do the work. When you are proficient at what you do, you sit down and then you're, okay, I need to figure out this particular problem that I'm working on at my job. You've had this experience working on the job, and then you bring your focus in meditation. You bring your focus and meditate on the problem. You're meditating on the problem, right? Because meditation is bringing your mind to one point of focus. What is the one point of focus? The problem with the task I'm trying to accomplish at the job. Okay. And so when you meditate on something, you're meditating on a problem. You're meditating on whatever it is. You can unlock the secrets of that thing. And so the last of the 16 keys is equanimity, right? Equanimity. So again, we've worked all the way from the top. Let's go over the list one more time. Peace, truth, giving, moderation, release, cleanliness, contentment, discipline, self-study, surrender, movement, the breath, focus, concentration, meditation. And now what has happened is when we work with all of these things, equanimity happens. Equanimity happens. Equanimity is a balance. It is a not too hot, not too cold, right in the middle. It's a 50% in and 50% out, and you're balancing that thing. There is a story there's a yogi that said you have to a person who goes off to the Himalayas to meditate all alone by themselves has lost their way. A person who spends all of their life in society and has no spiritual life has lost their way. You have to have a balance. You have to find that balance. You have to find that equanimity. And that's what happens when you work through all of these 16 keys. When you work through all of these 16 keys, that equanimity happens. That balance of life happens, because there is no perfect life. There is no everything is going to be all right. Right? That's not how life works, right? That's not how nature works. Everything is going to be all right, but there's always going to be something to deal with. There's always going to be an issue, right? But when we practice these 16 keys, the equanimity comes to us. It allows us to be okay with the things that happen that are perceived to be bad. The things that are perceived to be bad, we can look at those and turn them into something good. And if we can't turn them into something good, we just accept them for what they are and we keep it moving. And it made us stronger for going through the thing. Okay? Equanimity. So Those are the 16 keys. What I recommend, right, is, and here's the list again of the 16 keys, and you can look at those. Write all of them down, and then every day look at one of the keys. Look at them in the order that they're shown. Okay, and set yourself up with a rotating calendar. Today is truth. The next day is giving, and so all the whole day in your mind is giving. You know what I mean? You see it at the beginning of the day, and then you say, okay, giving. And then maybe jot down a few thoughts that you have about it, right? Jot down a few thoughts that you might have about giving. And then at the end of the week, go back and look at that journal, or look at those thoughts that you created from the list. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you know what to do. So until then, my friends, unclench your jaw and relax your shoulders. Peace.